Hello everybody and a warm welcome to Berringer, and today's theme is going to be plans, trains and alterations, and it's basically just a few alterations that I'm going to be making and how I'm going to go about doing it. So without further ado, I'll let you know what I'm going to be doing. And it's all to do with the station area, because I'm pretty happy with the way things are going down at the country scene end, because that's started to tie in. But now I'm getting to the point where I want to deal with the points and the ballasting, and there's a few alterations to the track plan that I'd like to make, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I've got a few sort of pinch points and things, and one of the pinch points is this point here, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to basically simplify the track work, and by making it easier, and so basically to improve reliability and basically reduce derailments and things. And this point had been a source of problems for some locos, and that it just seems like it's a bit odd to me to have it running just past the station. So this point work is now going to be removed, and the section from the tunnel is now going to go straight into this track here, and this point will be now removed, and this will now be the stabling point on this side, and that will make it more direct all the way through for the trains coming out, which seems to make a lot more sense. Another thing that I'd like to do is also I wanted to create a slightly bigger area than I have here, so this point here will also be removed, and that will be moved over to this left hand track here, because what's going to happen now is that these two lines that terminate at the station are going to go straight into this far left hand track here. So basically all this tracking down the middle will be removed, and basically just to declutter and simplify the track plan a bit more. And then the last bit I wanted to do is also I'm going to be getting rid of this point here, because as it comes through here and it comes into this point, it goes straight into the next point, and sometimes crossing these points can be a bit of an issue for some locos. And again, it's to simplify the track plan and to make it easier for the locos to negotiate, especially the bigger ones and the long wheel-based ones. So that's really what I'm going to be doing. And then when I do that, then I can start, once the track's been raised, I can be drilling the holes and everything like that, and start fitting the piano wire to change the points. Now all these points that are right next to me, I don't particularly see the point in fitting a point motor underneath them when they're just so local to me, in terms of just to hand like that. But obviously, rather than me having to stick my fingers to change the points, what I'm going to be doing is using the piano wire. And like I said, that will be come out from, like say, a hole like that, and then basically you just push it and poke the rod forward and backwards in order to change the point. And it's going to be that along those sorts of lines for a lot of these points. And also by removing this point here, it makes it a lot easier for me to, it'd be one less point over here, and make it a lot easier for me in terms of it's going to be tricky to sort of put a hole in here and try and do it from underneath. So I'm quite happy about doing that, and like I said, it seems to make a lot more sense. So basically that's the plan, and once I've done that and changed it, then basically I will come back to you and you can have a new overview of what it's going to be like. So if I just show you sort of a before and after, I'll just show you it like that, how it looks now currently in its state. And if I pull back, you'll see the track work as it is, and hopefully once I come back to you, it will be a lot more simplified and it'll be decluttered, and hopefully it will be running and working. So bye for now, and bear with me. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Plans, Trains and Alterations. And basically I've now commenced and now finished my alterations. Now the main, if I just give you just the overview of what we're doing so far, this is how it is. this is the main overview, and then I will take you through what I've done. Basically, as I said before, the two lines that go into the station there, to terminate into the station, now both of them feed into the left hand track. I've now managed to save a couple of points. We've now removed just one point here where it used to sort of go in and then go into straight into the other point. So now, as I said before, the one that comes out from the tunnel, that is now direct and straight through. So that means that it's simplified the track form and I've decluttered it, so it's more direct. And if you can see it from the other end, you can see it just goes straight. So there is no awkward points to negotiate. I mean, you probably remember there was one just about here. You've also noticed that the stabling point that I was going to have has now turned into a little mound and a little hillside, which is what I decided I wanted to do. Again, it's part of the decluttering process. I felt that there was too much track work in such a narrow space, and I wanted to kind of try and keep it open. We're also going to put some static grass, want to get hold of some, so that will go along the greenery area. I've also haven't completely lost the stabling point. I've added this one here, which finishes just towards the end of the platform. So that's what I've done now. Also, all these points are now got the piano rod fitting attached to them. So the whole scenic section on the station side can now all be ballasted, and that's one of the things I really wanted to do. As you can see, it's now sort of ready for ballasting now. And if I just quickly show you what I've done for the piano rod ballasting, you can see that I've got all these type handles, and it's actually supposed to be in the Network South East logo, but I thought I had some red paint, but I didn't have any, so that will be painted. That strip on each one will be painted in red. So there's 5 in total, and basically all it is a piano rod comes from the back into this, and this becomes a handle, and then you pull it forward and backwards in order to change the point. And if I just sort of show you how, just on one of them, how it works, if we just take that one for example, you can see how that just flicks across, and that's just simply using piano rod system. It's a manual system, and so the handles are just basically a scrap bit of wood which I've created into the Network South East logo. I've shaped them into that logo, and then I'm just painting it into their colours and sort of make my own handles. So this is literally just a scrap bit of wood which I've done. The piano wire cost me 60 pence, I think it's per yard, and I basically used 2 strips, so that cost me £1.20. So when you think about how much it would cost you for a Pico point motor and for the mounting brackets, and then depending on how you want to do it, whether you buy switches or studs, you can see how the cost starts to add up. Whereas this was just a piece of wood, one length, which was all cut down to one single width, and then after it was cut into blocks in order to create the handles for it. And then, like I said, just attached to the piano wire. And if I just show you underneath, and I'll switch it on underneath, you can see, actually you probably can see actually, just how you can see one of them there. That's all it is, and you just pull the rod backwards and forwards, and it's just bent into the right shape and into the right angles in order to create it. And it is 18mm is the gauge, I believe I was told. So that's the gauge for the piano wire. So if I zoom out a bit, you can see it. This is just on one of them. Then obviously you can see the next one along, and that's the same as well. And it's just a manual way of doing it, but it's a very cost efficient way of doing it. It's like I said, I was kindly given 6 Pico point motors. They haven't been installed or wired in, and I'm using them for the fiddle yard end where it's not as accessible. But these ones here that are accessible, without me sort of dipping my hands in to change the points, I can just use these little piano wire and the handles that I've made, and just basically it's a push me pull you type of thing. It's very sort of archaic sort of way of doing it, but effective nonetheless. So now this whole scene, and I've also added a couple more posters there that I had kicking about. So I'm going to be ballasting very soon, so that'll be one of my next jobs, and then hopefully this whole sort of station and the countryside will be then linked together. So and my other little project that I've done also that you might be interested in is this little thing here, and this is going to be my flower planter, and basically this is a piece of stripping that I had from Wills, and basically I've glued that together, created the shape I wanted through the paper template method that I use, and then basically glued it all together. And then obviously I'm going to be raising it slightly, and then before adding some static grass and some flowers into it to create a sort of greenery plantation type thing, so just to give the station a bit of colour. And also I just wanted to make the station and the town actually to be not too urban and just not like a city station. It's not what it's meant to be. It's just meant to be a reasonable sized town, and it's green. So I didn't want to make it too kind of urban. Anyway, thanks for watching. Feel free to comment and subscribe, and there's still plenty to do, but slowly but surely it's coming together, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.